Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be getting a movie. We've known about this for a little while, and we recently gotten some new news about it in regards to who will be directing it, and it will be none other than Chris Columbus. If that name is familiar, it's not because this is the same person who discovered the Americas for Europe. It's not Christopher Columbus. Chris Columbus is the discoverer. I almost said it. Is the director of movies such as Home Alone, Mrs. Doubtfire, and the first two Harry Potter movies.
Didn't he do the second Home Alone movie too?
I think so. Yeah. But none of the others. Because those were abominations.
It's because he knew when to stop.
Yes. He's like, all right, we got one decent sequel left in this.
2 is really all they needed.
So the production company Blumhouse apparently owns the rights to Five Nights at Freddy's, and they picked up the rights from Warner Brothers, who I guess they had previously had a director lined up, Gil Keenan, who directed Monster House and Poltergeist. So, yeah, Chris Columbus is not really known for horror movies, so I wonder how this is going to turn out. Blumhouse, though, is a film company that's known for, smaller horror films like The Purge, Insidious, and Get Out. So, they have experience doing it.
I'd call The Purge and Get Out more thriller.
Yeah, I could see that. Or suspense. And, of course, Scott Cawthon is going to be co-producing the movie as well. So, I like to... this kind of plays into the whole Mario movie that we're going to be getting. I like the fact... I like it when creators of something are involved closely with an adaptation. I think that's honestly one of the reasons why the Walking Dead series has been as successful as it has been, the TV series. Far more successful than the comic book. That's just because comic books themselves are kind of not very widely read. At least as much as they were. So to have the creator of Walking Dead involved in the show, I think that's proof enough that that formula helps. So I think movies like this with Mario and with Five Nights at Freddy's, I don't think that they're going to... I think there's a better chance that they'll stay closer to what, the creator thinks would work well for these franchises. That being said, and keeping in mind, because I'm sure you've seen some of Chris Columbus's movies, having mentioned them, how do you think this is going to turn out, considering he's not... I don't know that he's ever done a horror/thriller type film.
Could really be anything. It could be total garbage. It could be surprisingly good.
What do you think the tone would be, and what would the rating that he would go? Since he's kind of known for family and kid oriented films.
There's a lot of kids involved. It's just a little dark humor.
Yeah. I'm not saying he usually doesn't make bad movies. He has made some stinkers that they haven't mentioned, and you can go into IMDb and see movies that he's done that aren't quite as memorable as, say, Home Alone. I think there's a niche that he does very well when it comes to a family movie that strikes the right tone, so I don't really know despite his film pedigree, why they would go with him. I am happy to hear that the film production is being handled by a company that's basically known for suspense and horror.
That's what the game is. The game is leading up to a jump scare and then having it just be in your face, literally screaming at you.
Speaking of which, can we not have that happen? I know that I said about Mario how I want them to do like a 2D side-scrolling thing, somehow work that in. This is one of those things, because I would actually like to go see this, believe it or not. Even though I won't play the games. Because I'm such a wuss. But yeah, I think they should leave the jump scares almost 100% out of it. Maybe have one or two.
Oh, the whole movie is going to be...
No.
If not, I think what... Oh, man, what was the name of that game? That dude that made that Five Nights at Freddy's...
Joy of Creation.
Joy of Creation.
Nick something.
They should seriously
consult him on making the animatronics, because he's better than Scott.
One of the only people that's made like a better version of his own game.
Right.
Because they actually move around and it's 10 times more terrifying.
Oh, sure.
To have them, like, to hear them and not knowing where they're coming from, but them to have them actually coming at you than, like, you hearing them, and then it's just like, oh, it's like, oh. Because eventually it gets old. It gets stale. It's like, oh, it's not really like at first when it happens, it's like, it's terrifying because the game asks you, it's like, you want to play with the volume all the way up. That's how you play the game. No, you're a jerk. But that game is just like, it's the whole horror factor, you know, something terrifying and menacing is not only like in your face, it is running at you to get in your face.
Yeah, and then also once it gets you, it normally does like something like it hits you or something like that, and it just it's the sound effects and the visuals work together so well in that.
I feel like that needs to happen in the movie. Like whoever I guess the night shift guy is going to be the protagonist. There's other than the animatronics, there's not really like, or I guess and the owners of the franchise, there's not really like a set person.
Right, but I think that for the film they can't leave it as bare bones as the games are. They're going to have to expand it. They're going to have to give the night shift person a name, a character, develop the character. It can't just be you know, and have the whole movie be in first person. There's no way they would ever make a movie like that.
Well, then it comes to this. Are they going to have one person being the night shift, or are they going to have a bunch of people?
Probably a bunch of people, and then they'll split up, and then they'll get eaten.
Yeah, it's like, oh, something scary happens. Let's separate and investigate by ourselves. Because that's the best course of action.
Yeah. And since I do want to see it, I do hope, and maybe since Chris Columbus is doing this, it won't be like a rated R movie with like a whole bunch of gore. Like you don't need gore in a movie like this. You can imply stuff.
Oh, it's gonna be like if a Saw movie was all animatronics. Oh, well, there is that whole like theory that, you know, Kevin McAllister grows up to be Jigsaw.
And on that note,